Narcos Mexico may have been a great show, but there are parts of the series its stars are not happy about, especially Diego Calva, who plays Arturo Beltran Leyva in the show's third season. In recent interviews, he's been pretty vocal about the stereotypes the show portrays, and we're here to tell you all about it in this video. So keep watching. First up, Diego Calva's grievance with the show. The Babylon actor, who's become an overnight star even before the film's release, made his debut in Narcos Mexico as cartel leader Leyva. And while he did ace that role and entered mainstream acting with it, his problem with the series is one that we don't think is entirely wrong. According to Calva, even though Narcos is a great show, he has an issue with how it glamorizes the narco culture in the country. He also said that while the show does have a lot of truth and beauty that shows off the country's assets, it also has a lot of lies that show the drug leaders as literal heroes, which isn't right. If you asked us, we kinda agree, because considering the impact such shows have on audiences, glamorizing and stereotyping drug culture can be an issue. And it's great of Calva to speak out, because that means he holds the image of his country pretty close to his heart. But then, wait up, so why did he pick Narcos to act in at all, right? Why pick a show you think is so problematic? Well, according to Calva, as an actor who's just starting out, you don't have a lot of choices to pick your roles. And to be fair, if you're just beginning your career and get a chance to star in such a big show, anyone will jump at the opportunity. And to give the guy credit, he did praise the show for its story, but his problem with glorifying something that does pose a problem to his country isn't wrong. Even if the drug lords in the series are portrayed as anti-heroes, it does put out a very bleak image of the place, which obviously no one wants. He even said that while watching the show when it came out, he realized the shooting sequences and the action were too raw, and that he didn't want to continue doing that. So, guess his role in Babylon as Manny Torres, a movie and Hollywood-obsessed, struggling actor from Mexico, does fit the bill for him. In fact, his character's journey in the film is a lot like his own journey. In the movie, Manny is a Hollywood enthusiast who ends up getting the opportunity of his life. For Diego, starring in his first English-language Hollywood film against stars like Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie is an equally big, if not bigger, opportunity. Plus, if you think about it, he can easily offset the negativity from his debut with this role. But does that negativity really exist among all viewers? Also, do fans hold the same opinion as him about Narcos Mexico? Well, they don't disagree. While a lot of fans love the show for its soprano-like storytelling and the accuracy it holds, there are some who have pointed out the same thing Calva did, how they absolutely hate the narco culture represented in the show, and even across pop culture. A user on Reddit was pretty vocal about it. According to them, the narco culture in Mexico has ruined the country like cancer, and has a really big impact on how people live in the country, and how people perceive Mexico from the outside. And while a lot of users agreed with them, a lot of others said that this anti-culture is what people use to escape their quality of life and entertain themselves. But whatever they say, we don't disagree entirely with Calva, because, hey, entertainment or not, TV shows do have an impact. And if glorifying the narco life makes it look attractive even though it isn't, we think that's a problem. And even though we may not count him as a fan, even Pablo Escobar's son has called out the original Narcos for glorifying criminals. He may be right in principle, but his dad's literally the titular character in a show that portrays drug lords as figurative kings. So maybe take a seat, dude, and let the law enforcement guys do their job. Coming up, what do other cast members say? Well, the cast of the show hasn't been as vocal as the Leyva actor, but there have been times when the show's lead, Diego Luna, has spoken about playing his character cautiously. According to him, he grew up in a family of politicians politicians, so he remembers how it was in the '88 elections. But while the reality of the time is pretty rough and violent, he says it's important to put the stories forward. Now, you may think this is a totally different take than Calva, but hear us out. Or actually, hear him out. As per Luna, everyone needs to understand where these levels of violence come from and have a look at the country's past. He did accept that Narcos may not be the most ideal way to do it, but at least it provides a curiosity that was otherwise missing about the exploitation, the pain, and the violence. We gotta say, the guy has a point. If anything, the show does open up dialogue about the discussion. Didn't it give Calva a reason to point out the issue from the show? The other, Diego, also said that as long as the show doesn't portray the main characters as the heroes, it's alright to show Mexico and the people outside of it what lies in the country's history. Now, that's the kind of vision that should come from the show's lead. Speaking of whom, let's talk about how Diego Luna got this lead role. The Rogue One, a Star Wars story actor, isn't new to the game. Long before he became Felix Gallardo, he was a pretty successful actor in Mexico. He had starred in a lot of shows back home before, including Carusel and The Last New Year. But then he got his breakthrough role in El Abuelo y Yo in 1992, which brought him to the mainstream entertainment map, and which started getting him more roles in movies and shows. After that, the offers just didn't stop. His credits from the time include shows like El Premio Mayor, Ángeles sin Paraíso, La Vida en el Espejo, El Amor de mi Vida, and more. Hold on, so when did he enter Hollywood? So, after 1995, when he made his first big screen appearance in the film Ambar, he started entering more films, including A Trickle of Blood, Morena, and more. And once his successful role in Y tu mamá también took off, he started exploring the American film industry. His roles in Hollywood include Dark City, Criminal, The Terminal, Mr. Lonely, The Book of Life, and also Dirty Dancing, Havana Nights. But his career here didn't take flight until his role as Cassian Andor in Rogue One, a Star Wars story. With a six-figure paycheck in the movie and a soaring career ahead, that was when he became a household name in the US. And that was when he was discovered to play Miguel Ángel Felix Gallardo. Obviously, it hasn't been an easy ride for the guy, but hey, he's worked super hard in his career, and it's cool to see the kind of success he's achieved, isn't it? So much so that he's become a regular in the Star Wars universe, where he's reprising his role as Andor in the Disney Plus series. Now, what's Diego Luna worth today? Well, to be exact, $12 million. He's also one of the owners and founders of Canana Films, a Mexican production company that has, to date, produced more than 25 films and documentaries. So, guess he's doing all he can to build his home industry, which is why we think his take on the series isn't something we can totally ignore. This brings us to the question that, finally, which actor's take is more accurate about the show? Now, look guys, Calva doesn't have a wrong view of the show. He's correct when he says that glorifying a culture only adds to the problematic opinions people hold about its issues. So, when he says the stereotype and exaggerations are a little much, he isn't wrong. But then, Diego Calva has just joined the industry, so of course, his view is as fresh as the career he's building. He's seen his country in chaos, so of course, he does feel passionate about the whole thing, which isn't wrong. But then, Diego Luna holds a lot of experience over him and comes from a family of politicians who have seen the exact same world that Narcos portrays. So obviously, his view isn't something we can discount either. Guess our final verdict is to understand that both of them hold a valid point. And if we, as viewers, know what's right and wrong in the show and recognize what role each character plays in Mexico's violent history with drugs, the show will have achieved its purpose. And that's a wrap for this video. What do you think about the actors and their take on Narcos, Mexico's portrayal of the narco culture in the show? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.